People always talk about how quiet the Appalachian nights are. They don't tell you how messed up that quiet can feel. The store Janet worked at sat right off a forgotten stretch of two-lane highway. It backed directly against a steep ridge covered in trees. There was no streetlights, no traffic, no neighboring buildings. It was just darkness and woods. It was supposed to be an easy job. Minimum wage, overnight shift. Ring up truckers, mop the floor, and just try not to fall asleep. The first few weeks were fine. A few late-night regulars, mostly factory workers grabbing coffee on their way in. But around 2 to 3 in the morning, things changed. The woods got loud in a way that didn't make any sense. And it wasn't animals. It wasn't footsteps. It was more like someone dragging something heavy across the ground. It happened almost every night. She told herself it was a deer, maybe a bear. But bears don't sound like they're pulling weight behind them, and deers don't stop moving the second you step outside. So one night, she went out to dump the trash. She started to hear whispering. Not clear words, just a rhythm of conversation, like more than one person talking low on the other side of the tree line. There was no flashlights, no movement, nothing but voices floating in the dark. Janet hurried back inside and locked the door and watched the tree line for almost an hour. Nothing. The next morning, the sheriff showed up. There was a hiker who had gone missing overnight. His car was found just a mile down the road from the store. The deputy asked if Janet had seen anything. She said no. She didn't want to sound crazy and tell him about the noises she was seeing at night. But a few nights later, it got worse. Around 3 in the morning, the motion light behind the store clicked on. She checked the monitor and saw a man standing at the dumpsters. Dirty hoodie, head down, not moving. So Janet steps outside and calls out to him like, hey, 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 thinking he might be a drunk or lost. He didn't react. When she got about 20 feet away, he finally looked up. And that's when Janet realized his pupils were blown wide, like he hadn't slept in days. He wasn't blinking. He wasn't even focusing on her. He whispers to her, don't follow the lights. That's it. Just it, nothing more. She backed up slowly. She was scared inside and called the sheriff as soon as she got back in. But by the time they arrived, he was gone. He left nothing but a set of dragging footprints leading back into those woods. 2 days later, they found another missing person's car near this same stretch of road. And inside the store, customers kept telling stories about people camping illegally in the mountains. Tents that were found shredded, reports of people yelling at night. And all of those dragging sounds behind the store? The sheriff finally admitted they'd been finding old mine entrances, collapsing deeper in the woods, and evidence somebody had been using them, living in them, moving around down there. The night Janet quit, she heard it again, that dragging. But this time it wasn't coming from the woods. It was coming from beneath the dumpsters. It sounded like under the concrete. Something, or someone, was pulling themselves to a space that shouldn't have enough room for anything to even live. And that was the moment. She locked the door, turned off the lights, and waited for sunrise. Janet says she's had a lot of jobs since then. Good ones, bad ones, miserable ones. But she will never work another night shift at an Appalachian convenience store again. Because out there, you're not alone. You're just the only thing standing in the light.